Hello and welcome to Connect with Chris, where we catch up with distinguished alumni from the Quinnipiac University School of Communications. Joining me today is MJ Baird. MJ is the weekend sports anchor and reporter at KFDX3 News in Wichita Falls, Texas. MJ, thanks for coming back.
You're very welcome, Chris. I'm happy to be here.
So, weekend sports anchor and reporter, what all does that involve?
It involves a lot. It's a lot of fun. So basically, if you break down the work week, 5 days, right? My weekend is a Wednesday, Thursday. So the day of the week, Friday, is really my Monday. So you get Friday, we got high school football in Texas. That dominates.
That's big.
That's huge. We'll get into that. Saturday, Sunday is when I'm on the air or on the desk anchoring, and then Monday, Tuesday is more of my reporting days. So it's broken up between much in the field and then much at the desk. So the week kind of has two different feels to it.
Okay. Let's go ahead and talk about Texas high school football. How big are the stadiums?
Oh, massive, massive. The first time I went to Memorial Stadium, which is the stadium right in Wichita Falls where we're at, I mean, it puts high school stadiums elsewhere in the country to shame.
Yeah.
And the entire town comes out and fills these stadiums on Friday nights. There's a running joke, if you need to commit a crime in Texas, you do it on a Friday night when everyone's at the home game. So it's awesome. It's so cool.
So besides high school football, what else are you covering?
We cover all the high school sports. So right now, here in the fall, it's going to be your volleyballs, it's going to be your footballs, a little bit of soccer starting up. Down in Texas, they actually play like a winter season.
Okay.
You got basketball, of course, and then in the spring, your baseballs and your softballs and things like that. We also have a Division II university, so they've got a football team. They've also got men's and women's basketball, men's and women's soccer, softball, things like that. And then a junior college as well, which is about an hour down the road. We cover their teams. They have volleyball, they have baseball, and they have softball. So it's a pretty good range.
And it sounds like you're very busy.
Always, always busy. There's never a dull moment, and I like to stay busy too because it keeps me fresh and hopefully on my toes. But also, it just kind of every day I got something to do. I'm not sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah. How did you get to Wichita Falls? I know when you were graduating, you looked at a number of different places.
Yeah.
What made you decide on going to Texas?
So it's a funny story, actually. When I was here at Quinnipiac, the summer before my senior year, I had an internship at a TV station in Rhode Island, WPRI, Channel 12 there. And the woman who was the weekend sports anchor at that time, she had worked at the station in Wichita Falls prior. That was her first stop. Providence was her second. So that was the summer before senior year. Senior year comes around and it's time for me to apply to jobs. Well, wouldn't you know it, Wichita Falls has an opening. So I apply, and then I call up Ruthie was her name, and she to this day she'll deny that she had much to do with it, but I think I know that she put in a very good word for me, and I think ultimately that got me an interview, and then at that point all I had to do was seal the deal, and I'm so glad it worked out because the job application process is tough. There's only so many jobs, there's only so many jobs in sports, and you have to be willing to go where the job is. I'm from Boston or south of Boston, New England my whole life.
Yeah.
So transplanted to Wichita Falls is different, but it's a lot of fun.
What was that transition like? You mentioned it's been hot this summer.
Yes, 40-something straight days of 100+ degrees this summer. It's scorching down there. I will say it's not as humid as the Northeast, so you kind of get that dry heat, which is a benefit. I always tell people too, at least up here, you hear, and North Carolina, you hear this Southern charm, right?
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
People so kind, truly, how are you doing? Are you having a good day? Holding doors, just talking to you. Southern charm is so real, and I love that. Especially too, I'm someone people see on their screen, so they see you out in public, and they really want to know how you're doing and what's going on and things like that. I love the Southern charm. The people down there are great.
That's great. All right, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
Besides high school football, what's the sport you really like to cover?
You know what? People may be like, what are you talking about? We have some really, really, really good female sports down there, specifically women's basketball.
Okay.
And girls if it's high school, women's if it's college. But some of our girls teams are really good. Some athletes, some D1 talent down there. I love good girls basketball. They're running up and down the court. They're scoring a lot of points.
Yeah.
And you got to remember too, this isn't a knock on high school sports anywhere else in the country because I was a high school athlete in Massachusetts. But the talent in Texas, such a big state, the talent pool's so big. There's some really, really stinking good athletes down there, and watching them play and highlighting them on the news is so much fun. So the short answer is girls high school basketball.
Women's basketball to me is much more of a team game. than what I see in college or the NBA. That's what I like about it. They play much more as a team,
Right.
and work together.
And the fundamentals are so good.
Yeah.
The fundamentals are so good, and I think that's honestly across the board in a lot of female sports.
Yeah.
They're taught right and they execute it to perfection, and
Yeah.
that's what you know when you see a good team or a good athlete. But when you see fundamentally sound, that's the best part.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. What's the college that you said in the air?
Midwestern State University,
Okay.
Division II
Okay,
university.
I know Midwestern. What's
Okay.
their mascot?
The Mustangs.
The Mustangs.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah. They got right out in front of the school. They got like 3 big Mustangs, kind of running around in a circle.
Yeah.
People like to take photos there and
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
Have you had an opportunity to do other news besides sports, or has it just been primarily sports?
I've been lucky for the most part that I've gotten to stay in sports. I
Yeah.
will say, back, I guess we're going 2 years now, when the pandemic first started, there were no sports,
Yeah.
So we made a decision at our station, it was either gonna be one of two things. It was, okay, we're gonna move MJ and do more of a news role, or we gotta get unique with our sports coverage. And we chose the latter. I think, my sports director, Tobin McDuff, he went to bat for me and said, we can do sports stories, they're just not gonna be about live sports. So it's digging up those features. It's digging up, some of those profile stories. So I got to do that for the better part of 3 months in the summer of 2020,
Yeah.
which was very interesting because I got there in November of 2019,
Right before COVID started.
right before it started. So I
Yeah.
mean, 4 months into my first job, halfway across the country, the world changed.
Yeah.
So being thrust into that situation to kind of just, okay, this isn't what you thought it would be.
Yeah.
Meaning, not in a bad way by any means, but the pandemic shocked the world, so let's adjust to it, let's get creative. And I was able to, turn out 4 or 5 packages a week on stuff that wasn't live sports, but was still sports related.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How is being weekend sports anchor different in terms of reporting, and what are how do the job responsibilities differ?
Sure. So let's go through a given week, for example. Again, things start on Friday for me. Texas high school football this time of year, so we have our game of the week, and that's where I go out. I'm live as a field reporter in our 6 o'clock newscast, and then we shoot the game and we come back, edit the highlights, post-game show, all that. So we have our Friday night football highlight show Friday night. Okay, then you get to Saturday, where there may be a soccer game or there may be a basketball game or whatever it is. I'm out there, I'm filming highlights of those games, and then I'm bringing them back to the station, and I'm anchoring at 6 and at 10 at the desk, similar to where we would be here.
Yeah.
Same thing on Sunday. There's less live sports going on Sunday, so we do some funner things. We do top 10 plays of the week and things like that on Sundays. Then you get back into Monday and Tuesday, which is I'm in the field almost completely, whether I'm out there shooting some high school volleyball games. We also do a sports spotlight package every week and a team of the week package every week. So I'm interviewing athletes, I'm interviewing coaches, things like that, and kind of preparing those to air later in the week. So
Okay.
where I'm on the weekend, more so in the studio, very much less so during the week.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to take a break on Connect with Chris, and we'll be back with more with MJ Baird, a 2019 graduate.
Today we are doing the 25-hour film challenge. I am very excited, a little bit nervous, but other than that, I feel super confident in my team.
Last year we had 1 first place, so this year we're trying to run it back.
As seniors, we're all going to miss this.
We're back on Connect with Chris with MJ Baird. He's a 2019 graduate who's now the weekend sports anchor and reporter at KFDX3 News in Wichita Falls, Texas. MJ, tell me about how you got to Quinnipiac.
Yeah, wow, okay, so I'm from Pembroke, Massachusetts originally. During high school and the college search, I wanted a place somewhat close to home, and obviously this is about 3 hours away from home for me, so that fit the criteria. Came to accepted students days and things like that. Was absolutely amazed by the studio, the McMahon Center, the media suite, and all the media opportunities outside of simply the classroom, because I'm a big proponent of repetition. I can learn so much in the classroom, but I want to be able to apply it somewhere else. Yeah. And Quinnipiac checked all the boxes for me. So that's kind of how I ended up here. And so my freshman year was 2015, and graduated, like you said, in May of 19. Feels like forever ago.
So I don't know if you remember, but the first time we met is when I was interviewing for the job.
Yep.
And I remember you telling me a story
Okay.
about your first or second week on campus. You had volunteered, I think, for QBSN. and they sent you out to cover women's rugby.
Yes.
And you knew nothing about rugby.
Nothing.
What was that like?
It was scary, first of all. You know, you're a freshman going out to broadcast a game that you know nothing about, but you got to learn about it. And the rules, you can read and study them, but I had never seen rugby played in person. Have I seen videos? Sure.
Yeah.
But as much as you can study, read the rules, this, that, you got to be out there and see it happen, and even still, you're unsure. So overall, the broadcast was a nightmare. Thankfully, my play-by-play guy carried me heavily, because I was kind of just there, shell-shocked and trying to learn the ropes. But looking back on it, I sure hope that file's deleted, Chris. No one needs to come across that. But that was
a good experience.
I was going to say that was kind of like a building block, right? If you talk steps, just being out there and being able to get a chance to even try it for the first time was my start, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what else did you do when you were here?
Did a lot. So QBSN you mentioned, also Q30, you know, our TV station here, broadcasted everything from rugby to softball to baseball to hockey, basketball, you name it. Over on the Q30 side of things, my junior and senior year I was the sports director, so we covered, you know, I was more of a hockey guy myself, so I stuck with the men's and women's hockey, and we had our beat reporter teams doing basketball as well. But as a sports director, you overlook everything. So whether it was the MAC basketball tournament, which at the time was still in Albany, I believe it's in Atlantic City now.
Yeah.
Men's ice hockey was going on all those runs to Frozen Fours. I mean, my freshman year, they played in the national championship.
I was going to ask, you got to go to cover a Frozen Four, didn't
you? I
you?
did. That was my freshman year, Tampa, Florida. Still, to this day, the highlight of my journalism career. The team was nationally ranked #1 for so long.
Yeah.
To beat Boston College in the semifinals at the Amalie Arena where the Tampa Bay Lightning play, being up in the press box. I mean, what was I, 18, 19 years old, just kind of, again, starstruck, but kind of looking back on it, you're like, wow, that was really cool. Ultimately, I wish the Bobcats were able to beat that North Dakota team, but we talk about it all the time. That North Dakota team, like 6 of those guys are now in the NHL, so that was a really good team, and the Bobcats gave them a good run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, MJ, we're now going to enter the segment of Connect with Chris where we're going to get up close and personal.
Okay.
We're going to ask you some questions.
Okay.
And hopefully you'll give the right answers.
All right, let's see. It's a quiz.
It's a quiz. Hot dogs or hamburgers?
I am a hamburger guy.
And what do you take on your hamburger?
Probably like lettuce, tomato, ketchup.
Okay.
Yeah.
No cheese?
Okay, cheese too. Yep, cheeseburger, lettuce, tomato, ketchup.
Okay.
No onions, no pickles.
Okay, fair enough. Mountains or beach?
Definitely beach.
Okay.
And that's one of the things I miss the most, being in Texas. There's really not beaches.
Yeah.
You got like your lakes, and you could go way down to Houston or Galveston to get the beach, but it's no New England beach, and I miss that a lot.
All right. Spring or fall?
Okay, so in Texas, the answer is fall, because that's when football is.
Yeah.
Up until I moved there, I'd say spring.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Coffee 100%. Every day, multiple cups.
Multiple cups.
Yes.
And how do you take your coffee?
Recently, I've been going cream only, so trying to stay away from some of the sugars, you know.
Gotta keep off the LBs.
Exactly.
All right. Chocolate or vanilla?
Ooh, this is a good one. Probably chocolate, though.
Okay. And how do you take your chocolate?
Anything. Ice cream, Hershey's bar,
Okay.
you name it.
Okay. Excellent. Mornings or nights?
Nights for sure.
Okay.
Especially in the TV industry, we have late night newscasts.
Yeah.
My sleep schedule is 2 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Okay.
I'm not usually up at the
You're
crack
not
of dawn.
a morning person.
No, not at all.
Understood. Drama or comedy?
Okay, probably comedy.
Okay.
If we're talking I don't watch a lot of movies, and that was the first thing that came to mind for that question. But I do like watching like stand-up comedians. I think they're funny, so I'd say comedy.
Okay. Do you have a favorite comedy TV show?
Oh, geez. Does this qualify as comedy? It's actually a really old TV show. I got hooked on it recently. Cheers?
Oh yeah.
Is that comedy?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so Cheers.
Yeah. Good Sam Malone.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Steak or seafood?
Steak, 100%. And from a Boston guy, that might sound surprising. I don't eat a lot of seafood.
Okay. And do you have a specific steak cut that you like?
Maybe a New York strip, medium well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No ketchup.
No ketchup, no.
Yeah.
no.
All right. All right. Good. All right. We're getting down to the real serious questions
Okay, here we go.
Pepe's or Sally's?
Okay. I'm saying Pepe's.
Okay.
I've had both. I love both.
Okay.
And the pizza in Texas does not compare. So if you brought out both right now, I'd eat them both.
Okay.
But Pepe's.
And is there a specific pie at Pepe's that you get?
Old-fashioned, just cheese. Yeah,
Okay.
no doubt.
Nothing
no
else?
Doubt. I mean, great if you have it, but all I need is cheese.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Okay. And did you grow up with a dog?
Yes, we did.
What kind of dog?
First, we had a Shetland sheepdog.
Oh, I
and
grew
then-
up with Shelties.
Okay. And then we had golden retriever.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have Goldens now.
Yes, you do.
You've passed that one with flying colors.
Yes.
All right. Last but not least, this is the most important question of all.
Deep breath.
Red Sox or Yankees?
I gotta look around. Who's here? I don't see any logos. Red Sox.
Exactly. That is the only correct answer to that question.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, MJ, it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
A lot of fun. I had a great time being here. You know, I'm only up from Texas for a couple of days, so I'm happy we could squeeze it in.
Yeah.
It's been a great time, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to thank my guest, MJ Baird, for joining us on Connect with Chris. And please be sure to turn into our podcast, Uncommon Grounds, where I speak with School of Communication students about their Quinnipiac experience. Thanks for joining us.